Imagine, in 1994, standing before a strange pot-bellied hill in rural Turkey. For centuries, local farmers had avoided this place, convinced it was cursed. But a German archaeologist, Klaus Schmidt, saw something more. He saw the tops of massive, intricately carved stones poking out of the barren earth. He recognized them from a previous survey and knew, with a certainty that must have sent shivers down his spine, that this was no ordinary hill. It was entirely man-made. He had just stumbled upon Göbekli Tepe. What his team unearthed in the following years would do more than just rewrite a chapter of human history. It would tear the entire book apart and start from scratch. This discovery would come to be known as the zero point in human history, a place where our story began in a way no one had ever imagined. The initial excavations were slow and painstaking. With delicate brushes, archaeologists carefully cleared away millennia of dust, revealing the tops of giant, circular stone enclosures and monolithic pillars that had lain sleeping beneath the soil, waiting to tell their impossible story. The first results from carbon dating the site were so shocking they had to be checked again, and again, and again. But the result was always the same. Göbekli Tepe was 12,000 years old. To put that into perspective, it is 7,000 years older than the Great Pyramid of Giza and a staggering 6,000 years older than Stonehenge. Let that sink in. The time gap between the construction of Göbekli Tepe and the pyramids is longer than the time gap between the pyramids and you watching this video right now. This temple was built in an era we have long dismissed as primitive. It was constructed before the invention of writing, before pottery, before the wheel, before we domesticated animals, and, most shockingly of all, before the invention of agriculture. According to every history book ever written, a structure this complex, this monumental, simply should not exist in this time period. It was a complete anomaly, an impossibility made of stone. So, who on earth could have built it? For over a century, our model of history seemed so simple, so linear. First, humans invented farming. This allowed them to abandon their nomadic ways and settle in permanent villages. These villages slowly grew into towns and then cities, and only then, with a surplus of food and a large, organized workforce, did they build great temples and monuments to their gods. But Göbekli Tepe was built by Stone Age hunter-gatherers. The very people we pictured as simple nomads, living hand-to-mouth in small family groups, were somehow quarrying, moving, and erecting 20-ton stone pillars with a level of artistry that still leaves us breathless. Look at the details on these T-shaped pillars, now understood to be stylized human figures. They are covered in stunning high-relief carvings of animals, foxes, lions, spiders, scorpions, a forgotten zoo frozen in stone. Building this temple was a monumental undertaking. It required hundreds of people, likely from many different scattered tribes, to gather in one place, to coordinate their efforts, and to work together for a common spiritual purpose. The logistics alone are mind-boggling for a pre-agricultural society. Göbekli Tepe completely flips our understanding of history on its head. It shatters that old, comfortable narrative. The evidence is undeniable. Complex society and organized religion came asterisk before asterisk farming and permanent settlements, not the other way around. The temple came first. This has led archaeologists to a radical new theory, perhaps the immense challenge of feeding the hundreds of workers who gathered to build and worship at this sacred temple was the very catalyst that pushed humanity to invent farming. Perhaps the need to sustain this great spiritual project forced them to figure out how to domesticate wild grasses, leading to the birth of wheat and the agricultural revolution. Did the idea of God come before the idea of home? Did our deep-seated quest for spiritual meaning actually spark the birth of civilization itself? It's a profound thought. We now know what Göbekli Tepe is. We know how astonishingly old it is, and we have a good idea of who built it. But this incredible discovery doesn't give us all the answers. Instead, it raises the biggest, most fundamental questions of all. Why? Why did a society of hunter-gatherers, after hundreds of thousands of years of a nomadic existence, suddenly decide to undertake this colossal project and build the world's first cathedral? And perhaps the most haunting mystery of all, as we will explore in our next video, is why after 1,500 years of use, their descendants deliberately and painstakingly buried their own magnificent masterpiece, hiding it from the world, and walked away from it forever. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss part 2 of this incredible story. Thank you for watching.